व्यूअर्स, दिल्ली में टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ी एक नया प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है। इस परियोजना के तहत आने वाले 10 साल में डिज़ाइन टेक्नोलॉजी को मानवीय रूप देने की कोशिश कर रही है।
जी हाँ, हम मिलेंगे प्रोजेक्ट के डायरेक्टर रंजीत मक्कुनी से, जो स्टूडियो में हमारे साथ में हैं। लेकिन उससे पहले एक नज़र डालते हैं, उनसे मिलने से पहले एक नज़र डालते हैं कि उनकी लेबोरेटरी में आजकल क्या चल रहा है।
I'm going to demonstrate a new kind of a cultural learning tool that we've been developing here at the Crossing Labs to show you how we can use digital technology to understand the symbols and spaces of Benares. What you see here is a large mural depicting one of the ghats of Benares, the Manikarnika Ghat. And on this ghat you see various kinds of symbols, and I can place my digital lens to understand the meanings, symbols, interpretations of these ghats.
इस प्रोजेक्ट में नई टेक्नोलॉजी के सहारे सीखने सिखाने का काम पुराने तरीकों से हटकर मौज मस्ती की ओर जा रहा है।
जी, हमने अभी जो कुछ डिज़ाइन देखे हैं वो इसी का नतीजा है, और आज हमारे साथ बैठे हुए हैं प्रोजेक्ट के डायरेक्टर, द क्रॉसिंग के डायरेक्टर। प्रोजेक्ट का नाम है रंजीत मक्कुनी, जो हमें इस बारे में बताएंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया स्टूडियो में आने के लिए।
हाय रंजीत, वाह। अच्छा, इसके बारे में कुछ जरा बताइए हमें कि क्या क्या लाए हैं आप हमारे लिए।
I can speak in English, right?
You can speak in English,
go ahead.
yes, of course.
Basically, I'm from Xerox's Palo Alto Research Center, California, Palo Alto. We were responsible for some of the early innovations relating to computing, including the personal computer itself. Over the recent couple of years, we've been excited by India. And the traditional argument of India is that it's an exciting knowledge economy and whatnot. But what excites us here is how can we use Indian artistic and cultural talent to design modern technology. So what you're seeing here is a kind of a follow-on project to a couple of the earlier projects we've done in India, dealing with multimedia and cultural learning technology. Okay, the crossing is the title of this project. Crossing comes from the word Sanskrit word tirtha, to cross over, as in a crossover to crossover into a space of learning and transformation. The crossing is developing a multimedia experience exhibit as well as media to showcase some of the dimensions of sacred geography of Benares. Benares seen as a site of learning, transformation and healing, using some futuristic information access technologies that are being developed at Park. Okay, and so what are these future information access paradigms?
You have created a CD-ROM on all your experiences there, or you are in the process of doing that?
We are in the process of creating a multimedia exhibition, plus CD-ROMs plus video. So let me just talk to you a little bit about what are these kind of paradigms. These are paradigms which are calling the living documents, because we're thinking that this kind of form of computer, which has a screen and a typewriter. This was based on an innovation which we created 30 years ago, and we are now going post this form. Rich as the images on this kind of screen are, this has actually disembodied the learner. we've become a culture of button pushers.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, future computing documents can be, used. We could design better and richer documents in which we can employ our crafts, employ our body-friendly technology, so that this form relates to the form of your hand.
Oh, I see. So instead of these little square-like computer structures, we now
black
have
and beige computers.
Yeah, which is done. You've now made it so artistic. So this is actually a computer thing.
It could be a future.
This is electronic.
Transmission. What do you call it?
But these are all buttons that you
Remote.
press around.
Something like that.
Around Buddha.
That's right. So you base around Shiva. So that you can actually click on these kind of hotspots and see the symbols. And part of what you were seeing in that video earlier was kind of some new notions of documents that we've been kind of working on at Park. You saw a cycle wheel where people were actually touching. So we're taking an ordinary cycle wheel and transforming it into a sitar. Okay. And in doing so, people with kind of a less degree of skill can get into the skilled practice of a sitar player.
So the music which was there was from that cycle wheel.
And also people creating that music. So, that's one notion. The second notion of a document you saw a large mural which had a digital lens you were kind of moving around with. So we're saying that right now the screen here has the hotspots. But what if the physical world had the hotspots? What if all these kind of objects had the hotspots? What if my jacket had the hotspot? Then couldn't I bring my computation in a body-friendly way into these kind of everyday objects?
So then you just sort of...
You wear a jacket like...
You wear a jacket and you can click on this R and out from a screen I could tell you I'm Ranjit and here's Ruby and whatnot, that kind of thing. Or in the case of the crossing, it could clicking on these little windows and Shiva could lead you to interpretations on Shiva and Benares. So what's most interesting is how do we bring the traditional craftspeople into the modern design discourse, and and shape the future of the document through these traditional heritage of India.
And so you're employing, you're helping them to not only be a part of the process, but also to maintain their livelihood through their age-old form of craft.
Yeah, and they're sharing in becoming part of the modern technology discourse.
So it's kind of bringing everything together.
Yeah, and that comes to the Park story again, because we are actually not innovating only from California and then sending products down. We're actually creating a research lab here, working with the craftsmen, scholars, artists, designers from NID, from IIT, a huge network of Indian talent to create the future of computing.
Why India?
India is one of the last cultures which you could say is analog culture, which can resist the homogenization which we find in other cultures. It has alternative notions of the body. You don't believe in a chemical body or a biomechanical body. Here we believe in consciousness body. And we have all these rich crafts. Kalidas could talk to clouds. You don't just believe that this is H2O. This is actually a symbolic form, a message sender through clouds, that I could use sea water as a psychic phenomena. Krishna is a symbol of fertility of the clouds. So these kind of notions are present here. And in the face of modernity and modernization, we ought to be thinking of non-Descartesian,
non-scientific,
non-reductionist, non-Descartes. Descartes is the one which created subject and object views of the world, and India is a great place for that. And then our crafts are so rich. I think these are our technologies, and which ought to be shaping the documents of the future.
What do you mean by the word document? You've used it very often, but I think you're using it in a technical way. What does document mean to the common man?
It means a representation of, or a communication tool to exchange ideas.
Oh, so even like a computer is a document?
It's a document.
Okay. So this is the document of the future.
Yeah, so you can click on the goddess's feet, and a scholar would pop up and explain to you the meaning of the goddess.
Oh, wow, it's kind of like the genie in Aladdin's lamp, isn't it? It's kind of bringing magic into science.
That's exactly. That's why we're terming this research the living documents. So as opposed to passive dead documents.
What would be, say, commercial use of this technology?
I think if you think of how over the last 30 years text became pictures, and then pictures became multimedia, and then we've kind of reached a point of internet where the world is distributed. But I think the next people are going to get tired of button pushing, and the next future would be in these kind of physical, beautiful, meaningful content and documents.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, हमारे साथ हैं रंजीत मुकानी जिन्होंने Makkuni, I'm sorry, Makkuni, right? Makkuni, who is one of the top 30 product designers in the world, and he's at the cutting edge of product design. And उन्होंने दिखाया है कि कैसे हम पुराने handicrafts को modern technology के साथ जोड़ के एक नया technology बना सकते हैं.
आपका जो exhibition था वो कैसा चला?
The previous work on the Gita Govinda, it was one of the most successful shows bringing in modern technology and traditional culture. It was very highly received.
और ये कब होने जा रहा है?
This, we're going to have a product launch on April 15th and an exhibit around in fall to be shown in Delhi, then Bombay and later in New York.
Delhi, Bombay.
चलिए अगली बार लगता है कि लोग जो अपने कमरों में बैठे हुए हैं, अगर ये सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है मामला, तो अगले 10 साल के अंदर आप कुछ ग्लास उठाएंगे और आपको टेलीविजन आ जाएगा.
That's correct. You got the vision.
So,
wow, fantastic.
Thanks a lot.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद यहाँ पर आने का.
Thanks you.
All the best to you.
Thanks a lot. और ये इसके साथ ही हो गया.